na yeye akikanyaka Bungoma tunamkaribisha kama mtoto wetu, na yeye sasa ndio bishop wenu. Nimeona jana Popa amemuongeza madaraka ingine kusimamia Machakos na Wote. Mtu mzuri lazima aongezewe na mtu mkatili lazima apunguzwe. Sisi tukija hapa, mimi sichakuja hapa kwa sababu mimi ni Muluya. Hata sijui kwa nini Mungu alinifanya nikazaliwa Muluya. Nilijikuta tu huko. But the most important thing ni sisi ni wa Kenya. Ukiwa hapa kama wewe ni Mkenya, ukisikia mtu amepigwa risasi kule Vanga, Kwale au kule Turkana, unasikia uchungu kwa sababu ni Mkenya mwenzako. Sio vile ukisikia mtu amepigwa risasi kule China, the pain you feel is not the same pain you would feel if you are told mtu mmoja amekanyagwa pale Chumvi, amepigwa kule Garissa, kwa sababu ni Mkenya mwenzangu. Patriotic feeling. Shakespeare said, courage is not courage if you use it to hit your head against the wall. It is stupidity. Na tunataka tuwe na viongozi ambao wanajua the limit of where to go, what to say, where to say, how to say, and the impact on society. Na waomba wa Kenya, hasa viongozi, upunguze siasa ya kukata nchi yetu kikabila au kiregion. Kwa sababu katiba yetu inasema every Kenyan has a right to live, own property and enjoy peace anywhere and everywhere in our country. Huo unatoka Masaku, huo unatoka Kitui, huo unatoka kule kwetu kwenye tunapenda Busuma na Ingoho, ukiwa unatoka Kisumu kwa kina Obor, ukimpatia chakula kama hakuna samaki si chakula. Ukija hapa kwenu kama hakuna mudhokoi hakuna chakula. Lazima tujue our diversity is the source of our strength. Na ndivyo tutaishi. Na kama kuna mtu yeyote anataka kufuruka amani ya nchi, ikiwa ni mimi, nitolewe. Akiwa ni Makau, atolewe. Akiwa ni Kamene, atolewe. Ikiwa ni wewe, atolewe. Because we want peace for everybody.
I have listened to that speech from the National Speaker, Moses Masika Wetangula, a man I respect so much. And I was taken aback. I had to listen more than once to the sentiments of the Speaker of the National Assembly. The sentiments corroborate our fears because we have always maintained that Rigathi Gachagua is not impeccable. But the manner and the intention of his impeachment are wrong. What motivates the president to charge members of parliament against his deputy are ill motive. Wetangula is the Speaker of the National Assembly, elected by the members of parliament. And he sits there as a neutral arbiter, a referee in a match that is not supposed to take any sides. We are being told that we've got over 300 members of parliament who have painted their signatures in support of Rigathi Oster. What makes it even worse is the fact that even the Speaker of the National Assembly could have also painted his signature. The tug of war between President William Samoei Ruto and his deputy are meant to hoodwink Kenyans and to divert our attentions. If you look at the media, the headlines, they are all talking about Rigathi Gachagua, his sentiments, what his allies are talking about, what the president is talking about, his allies. The president himself has not spoken about this, but we can hear what he's not saying. And what he's not saying is being said by people like Oscar Sudi, people like Dimas Baraza. The sentiments are coming at a time, the timing is very suspicious because we've got only 2 days before that bill is tabled in Parliament. We understand that the Oster bill, the impeachment bill against Rigathi Gachagua, could be tabled on Tuesday. Today is Sunday, it's only tomorrow, Monday, then Tuesday, they are going to table this impeachment motion. Now, just a day before that, the speaker, who is supposed to take a neutral position, is supposed to sit on the fence, is telling us that he supports the ouster of the deputy president. I can assure you that the process is not going to be fair. It is not going to be fair to Rigathi Gachagua because the man we rely on to moderate the process, to ensure that all the parties are given a fair hearing, has already taken sides. And I want to repeat that I don't support Rigathi Gachagua in any way, and I don't support his narrative about shareholders. But I'm only saying that there is no difference between what Rigathi Gachagua is saying and what the president is practicing. In terms of appointments, do you want to tell me that William Ruto is clean if we were to scrutinize him in terms of appointments? Let us be real. How many Kenyans from Kalenjin are in state offices? How many of them have been appointed by the president vis-a-vis the population of Kenya? If we were to do a head count and do a ratio, whether the appointments reflect the face of Kenya, would we find William Ruto clean? I want to humbly submit to you that if you look at the appointments, you will realize, because this was a report that came out, that appointments have been made to reflect the people in power. Majority of Kalenjins and Kikuyus are in government and state offices. It didn't start today. This thing started, it has been like that all along. And one of the biggest problems that Kenya has grappled with is the fact that anytime a leader gets into office, then that leader seems to be supporting members of his community at the expense of other Kenyans. And so when Rigathi Gachagua went out and said that this is a government of shareholders, it was wrong. It can never be right. But it was, it came out loudly because he was speaking about it. Yet William Ruto, who now seems to be very quiet, is practicing it. Actions speak louder than words. The actions of the president in terms of appointments really speak louder. And I know that Rigathi's main, sin was to speak about it, yet it is being practiced. We have always voted on tribal lines. Let no one cheat you. Go back to 2022. You will realize that because of William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua, most people from Kalenjin, his support base, voted for the UDA. Why? Because William Ruto was there. Most of them from Mount Kenya voted for them. In 2013, William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta rallied the emotions, whipped the emotions of their people. And they said Raila wanted to take them to Hague. And their people voted for them. That is the kind of politics that we have always practiced. And so we cannot single out Rigathi Gachagua as the worst of them. He could be the worst in speaking about it, but in terms of practice, our president is the worst. He's the appointing authority. You got to check your facts. In fact, it is being said that in every ministry, William Ruto has placed a checkmate from Rift Valley. If there is a cabinet secretary, there is a PS who is a Kalenjin. If the PS is from another tribe, then the CS is a Kalenjin. And these are facts that we can check. Did you know that we have members from his community who have been retrieved from jail when they were arrested, and the verdict from the courts had condemned them to jail terms, and they were retrieved? I really don't believe that Rigathi can be impeached based on tribalism. On our very face, we are witnessing the perpetual state capture, where the executive arm of the government has captured and pocketed all the other arms, whether it is the legislature, whether it is the judiciary, and all the independent offices like the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, the DCI, Director of Criminal Investigation. I mean, you could talk even of some judges who are dancing to his tunes. And this is exactly what is happening here. We have a parliament that has abrogated its roles. The roles are supposed to be legislative. The quality of the legislation that has come out from our parliament could be half-baked because they are not well thought, well crafted. They are doing it to please the executive. They rubber stamp what the executive wants, and this is the reason why Gen Zs went to the streets. When parliament rubber stamped the executive order on the Finance Bill 2023 and Finance Bill 2024, they did not look at the wider picture, the sentiments of Kenyans. Kenyans said we don't want it, yet they passed it. We have even had cases where there are allegations of bribery. When the former CS in the Ministry of Agriculture, Wetila Linturi, had messed up that ministry and it went into the floor of the house, we were told of allegations of people who took money. They were bribed and they saved him. So our parliament has been captured by the executive arm of the government. And this is why we can never get anything good from this parliament. When I listened to Moses Wetangula, my heart is bleeding because we don't have a country. And I know you can be very happy today because it is the turn of a deputy president. And I'm not saying it's clean. These people ought to have been left to fight their own battle. We are degrading and diluting the quality of the threshold that should be used to impeach a state officer. Today you will be happy that it is Rigathi Gachagua, but once he's gone, tomorrow we will be very petty that when two people have disagreed, then we want to play those petty politics. William Ruto disagreed with his boss Uhuru Kenyatta. Never once did we hear Uhuru trying to impeach him. Moses Wetangula must be neutral. Moses Wetangula must not be seen to be taking part in this impeachment process. In fact, I can assure you that if Rigathi Gachagua is going to be impeached, this case is going to find itself in a court of law, because Moses has proved that he is a referee who is going to officiate a match where he has already taken sides, and so the process is not going to be neutral. The process is going to be unfair. No one is, the side that is supporting Rigathi Gachagua is going to find it very rough. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we must take back our country. If the political class that we have today cannot go home, then we need to register as voters and vote out all this political class, because they are not acting in the best interest of Kenyans. Rigathi and Ruto are not disagreeing because they want to look at the mode of the university funding model. They are not disagreeing because they want the prices of the basic commodities to come down. These people don't disagree because they want the people who are kidnapped to get justice. They are not disagreeing because of you and I. They have got their personal vendetta, they have a personal aggrandizement. They don't look at our interests. And I want to urge you Kenyans not to be drawn into these political murky waters. Let them sweat it out among themselves. Let us look at how it plays out. And let us look at the legislators out there going to vote. I want to end by saying this. I'm very keen on looking at the ODM members of parliament as they debate this motion, as they vote, and I want to see whether they will insist that the conditions and the allegations that have been leveled against Rigathi Gachagua must meet the bare minimum of the threshold as it set out in our constitution.